Show me the thing! Welcome back to Featured Fan Builds. Hopefully the 3D printer that's going in the background isn't making too much noise. It probably is. People have been asking when this was going to return. Well, here it is. It's going to be a fairly short one probably, because I've got a lot to do. I'm still trying to get back onto my regular uploading schedule. We'll see how that works out for me in the future. But our first submission came from Tyler, and it's his take on my Ballistic Knife built using the switch shot. And he took it the next step. Rather than fabricating a little lever to release the catch, he simply milled himself one out of, I believe, aluminum. That is not only far stronger, but it's also has the button basically built into it so that you can release the plunger tube, or plunger rod, which he has also milled out of aluminum. So that is fantastic. It can probably take a much heavier spring load, though at some point you're probably going to have to reinforce the shell to be able to support that much spring. But that is really, really cool, Tyler. Next. Up next we have Mine Guy 2015. And I wanted to show this one off just because I thought it was a neat way of doing it. He has rebarreled a Titan to fire Demolisher rockets. He's also sealed the gap on the bottom where the Hornet would connect in, and I believe he did some improvements on the pump. I could be wrong about that, but he's also modified the Demolisher rocket holder so that instead of being a rail attachment, it has rail, so you can attach it to the side of the Titan, which has rail attachment built into the side to hold the Scout. So I thought that was pretty cool. Well done, Mine Guy 2015. Up next we have Shrubs and his XBZ long shot, and I really, really like this. I tried doing something like this when I first got into modding and had no idea what I was doing and ended up just destroying a long shot shell. But the way he did it using an XBZ, I didn't have an XBZ at the time. I had a larger tank, and it definitely did not fit. And what he has done with this that I thought was really, really creative, when I first saw the picture, I was like, well, how on earth does it chamber around? You can't have the bolt go back into the XBZ tank, and then I realized he didn't. He moves the entire XBZ. It is attached to the bolt sled, so the whole XBZ tank moves backwards and forwards when you prime it. Which works perfectly. Then, when you prime it forward, it then lines back up with the trigger, and it is then, you pull the trigger and it releases the air pressure. The hose in the back is flexible enough to allow it to move as you move the XBZ back and forth. And then he's got the Hornet, I think it's a Hornet pump, built into the front. And not only does it work really, really well, it's just a really slick design. So, yeah, well done, Shubs. Shubs? I don't know. Up next, we have a paint job by Nefn. N-A-F-N. And yes, the obligatory warning about extremely realistic-looking blasters and dark paint jobs and all of that. This is used for cosplay and for LARP, and is never used in public, only in private locations or in places where it will be safe. Be smart about what you do with your painted blasters. But yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a partly minimized Stampede. Had the top rail removed and then Picatinny rail added. It's got a vector kit on there, and I don't know that I've ever seen anybody put a vector kit on a Stampede. Red accents, or possibly orange accents. Absolutely gorgeous work. It's got, looks like a voltmeter built into it. Just a really, really well done integration and really pretty paint job. So, well done there. Next up we have Tanis and a couple of paint jobs of his. This one's getting featured here because he actually does commissions. I will have his contact information down in the description. You can take a look at his designs here or his paint jobs and see if it's of a style you're interested in. He hasn't done anything for me, and I haven't seen any of his other stuff, and so I can't really say that I'm recommending him personally, but if you want to give him a chance, Contact information will be in the description. The paint jobs do look fairly clean, so there is that. And finally, for the last one that I'm going to talk about before we get to the slideshow, we have this build by Clowny. And I got to see this in person at Penn State, I believe, and it was just the coolest thing ever. I actually have one of these cannons somewhere, and I'm really kind of tempted to try something similar to this. It's got an expanded XBZ in it, and then that handle thing on the back is the pump. That's normally the pump that you would use to fire this thing. It's usually kind of a ball shooting hamp, but he's then added a stock, and the pump is back there, and then pushing the little skull on the top of the cannon is what fires it. Apparently he took my design for a coupler system so that it can fire a variety of ammo. It cannot currently fire the original balls it came with, and it cannot fire rockets, so he's still working on working on better attachments so that he can do both of those. But that is just a neat, silly, and fantastic build, and I absolutely love it. Alright. On to the slideshow.
Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.
Beautiful work, as always. Love the stuff that you guys send in. The next one will be a month from now, so feel free to send stuff in. I am still backlogged. I had almost gotten caught up, and then the whole move happened, and I got terribly behind again. So I will continue to try to get caught up, and as I said, try to get back to my regular upload schedule. Best way to send stuff in, the stuff I absolutely prefer, is email it. Email is down in the description. Use the FanBuilds email so that I don't have to try to dig through emails from other accounts or instant messages or whatever else. I can just get them all right there. So there you have it. Thanks for sending stuff. Thank you for watching.